All right, we're working on I think this is like a 14, maybe even a conversion, because I see some R1 parts on there. But the problem is the car was loose at another track, and the car was brought to me, and it sounds like it's in the car. We looked at tires. We looked to see, first thing I wondered, okay, it's loose. Are the tires actually still glued? So we checked, and they're glued well enough that that wouldn't be the problem. We did notice that some of the front wheels are cracked. I don't think that would make it spin out, but it might make it traction roll. But the rear tires were in good shape. They weren't really cracked. They weren't peeling off the rim. So it turns out that it traction rolls one way, is that what you said? And then it pushes the other. So left
It goes loose.
So through the sweeper it pushes, or does it traction roll?
It goes loose. I mean, it traction rolls to the when you turn left, and it
Okay,
is loose
so
to
it
the
pushes
right.
through the sweeper, and when you come back left, it wants to flip on itself. All right. So the first thing I'd probably look at is balance. Just looking at it, this looks like it might be a 5,000 battery. It doesn't have a label on it.
No, 62.
62, okay. Might be pretty close. We'll have to check and see. So I'm going to use some balance pins, and then we'll check the droop and make sure that's even maybe. Several things we can do here, but number one I'm thinking of is going to check this balance and see if we can get it close. So if you come down here with me, I always get down on my knees to do this. You can get any car to balance, even if it's not balanced. It just doesn't balance center. I don't know if you can pick that up, but you see how it's listing to the right there? So if I go to the middle, if I'm just ever so I mean, it just wants to, my wife would say, tump over to the left. I think that's an East Texas word. But if I just hold it in the middle, it wants to pull left hard. That left side's heavy, you can tell. I can get it way over here, and I bet it'll balance still. Look at that. So we're going to add some weight to the right side, or we're going to shift electronics from the outside of the chassis inward, something to get this so that it sits dead flat. Let me see what I have. Do you have any weights, or do you need me to pull some out? Okay, I'll get some weights.
39.3.
We're going to have some weights that I'm not too interested in giving away, but we can at least get it balanced, and then I'll tell you how many grams we need and where, and then we can work it out that way.
10.5.
Oh, get in my
John
back.
August. 11.5.
No, just keep it rolling.
9.6.
If people don't want to watch the boringness in between, they can fast forward, I guess.
12.1.
So here's why these tungsten weights that I have were, I think they even sell them up there in the hobby shop. We can go up there and look after we get done. I like tungsten because it's not lead. Lead's kind of soft, and I don't know. I don't think I'm too worried about any harm. I'm not going to be licking these weights. But tungsten's density is greater than that of lead, so I don't have to worry about finding as much space to put it in. I can hide it a little better, which on some of these cars now, it's tough to find places to get the lead where you want it. So we said that left side is heavy. So here's one option. If you have a heavier battery, that'll help. You can just put a heavy battery in there, but you can't really fine tune it that way. We're going to start, I think this is like close to 20 grams right here. And one of the nice places to get that is up there up front. See if we can get close again. Well, we're better. At least it's center. It's not falling. And so some people might say, oh, well, now it's balanced. It sits even. But I'll go a step farther, and I'll just eyeball how far can I go each way. I mean, I can barely move it to the left before it dumped over. And to the right, I can still get it to balance pretty far. So we still have a little bit of weight to add. Here's a step up, I think. This is like 4 or 5 grams here. I think it's going to be more. And keep in mind, not only is it the mass, but the placement. If you think of it like a seesaw with a fat kid and a skinny kid, you get the skinny kid way out there and the fat kid way inside, and you can balance it. So I prefer to get the weight in the middle, but sometimes you have to move it out.
11 flat.
This is going to be another step closer, but I don't think it's going to be right. Yeah, it's still off, so
14 2.
we'll step up to
15 2. 10 2.
this piece.
Twelve 3.
The toughest part is getting it up here without getting it in the way of the steering rack.
Blaring taut.
Alright, that'll work. Once again, I think that's going to be really close.
13 3.
You know it's good when just either side of center, it wants to fall over.
47
Now,
10 4.
this still is going quite a ways this way before it wants to tip,
11 5.
right? And just ever so slightly this way, it wants to tip.
10 6.
So you're quite a bit heavy on that side.
10
You're going to run out of space, is what I think we're going to find.
10 7.
Again, one of those reasons I like tungsten, but this is going to get us closer for sure.
10 6.
That's really close right
13
there.
2.
Now we're talking, we're within 5 grams. I can throw this piece on there.
Twelve 6. 10
Oh, at least I can tip it over to that side now.
3. 11 5. 25.3.
Still not quite right. I don't know if you're seeing this. Are you seeing
1.4.
how much it still is off balance?
11 5. 10 6.
Let's see.
15 3.
This is going to be another 5 grams.
14 7.
I mean, we're loading this thing up with some tungsten, and that's
10 4.
getting close to like 30, 40 grams on that one side. It was light.
12 8. 13 4.
But that's pretty close.
11 6.
Yeah, I'm going to call that balance. So if you come look, I'm not going to touch those weights. You can see the placement of this one. Kind of just, I pick a center.
11 5.
Here's about the center. It's about even with the middle of that screw hole in this plastic piece. And up here, it's also about centered on that same spot, right about there and right about there. So now we can weigh this. And I'll tell you, okay, now you just need to get that much weight in that spot.
12 5. 12 7. 11 6.
And at least you're a step closer to not traction rolling. Oops, need to let it tear.
12 4.
So 36.5 grams. I mean, if you get to 35, that ought to be close. Maybe even 40, because I think it was still a little off on that side, but I ran out of 5 gram pieces. So you're looking for 35, 40 grams centered, pretty much centered with the battery right there. And that should get you fixed. Come on back when we get that done, and we'll check it again and look at the next issue if there is one.